What's a company secret you can share now that you don't work there? Maple sap can be trucked in from other states, and where it's turned from sap to syrup decides on the state it comes from, not the location of the trees. Used to work at a graphic design firm. All our Adobe software was pirated. I worked as a dog groomer for a summer. We gave your dog a treat even if they weren't good. I worked for a restoration company. One time an elderly woman called them to clean her house. She was a hoarder or there had been a fire. I can't remember. Anyway, the company charged $57,000 for the work to be done, but in actuality they couldn't even get the charges to add up to $20,000. She couldn't file this on her insurance. There are other examples of gross overcharging, but this is the worst I know of that wasn't on the large loss side. The lesson here: if you have water, fire, mold, or hoarder damage and call in a company to clean it up, go through every line item on the invoice. Every single one. I used to work surveillance at a casino. From something like 3 stories high ceiling, we could zoom in on money on the table games and read the serial numbers of the bills. We could see the pips on the dice. Policy was to not look down blouses. Inbound call center, there is no such thing as a silent hold. You are on mute. We could still hear you, but this isn't done maliciously so we can listen in. We had targets for hold time, and putting you on mute instead used 0 hold on that call and brought the average down. Sometimes we were asking a colleague for input. Sometimes we were avoiding an awkward silence while the computer took forever to load. Personally, I did it a lot because I can fix your issue/account easier when you're not yapping in my ear with stupid questions. And also I might want to call the last person you spoke to some very bad words for messing it up or bullshitting you in the first place. The stain protector is only useful if you actually file a claim. It isn't a magic fucking potion. Most furniture companies sell some sort of stain protector as an add-on. People buy it, thinking it has some magic ability to prevent stains over the life of a piece of upholstery. Then, 5 years later, spill some Kool-Aid on that shit, and the stain doesn't come out. With most of these protectors, there's a warranty claim process that will get you a new sofa, or a new set, if your sofa pattern isn't made anymore, but nobody ever files a claim. That's the gimmick. The company is counting on you not actually holding them to the deal that they made you, and virtually nobody does. I worked for a large construction company, and the sales guys would intentionally omit items from contracts because they received incentives for what would then become a change order. Me: you forgot to include any framing in this contract. Sales weasel: oh, I guess it's a change order then. Customer cries: one of our best restaurant in my town is locally famous and everyone goes there. They say everything is homemade. The thing they are famous for is the hot beef sandwiches, with homemade potatoes and gravy, and the fish fry. The fish fry they also have during the week listed as an entree called the cod platter. It is instant Cisco brown gravy mix and instant Cisco mashed potatoes. The cod is only fresh and fried on Fridays. If you order it during the week, it is frozen breaded Cisco fish fillets, aka a blend of random fish shaped into a stick, skull. Your luggage at an airport isn't really handled with care. I'm 90% sure a company I worked for was importing product from China, repacking it and selling it as made in USA. Blending it with the product we did make in the US. Worked at a major cable/ISP and their 4 billing cycles. They upgraded the billing system, but did something wrong, and all but the current cycle got a late charge. But instead of fixing it immediately, we were told to credit their account if the customer called in. I did the math, and for the size of our city, and the 3/4 of people wrongly charged, it was over $1 million USD. Most people just pay their bill and don't look to close. In the United States, one company's bread and butter was simply reboxing and relabeling computer monitors from China to make it seem like they were from the company and made/assembled in some way by them. Worked in insurance. Hundreds of people have access to your SSN with no security clearance or background check. We sometimes made up letters to the editor. Arby's manager replaced the expiration stickers on the bread with new ones. I guess so the bread would last longer that way. I threw out 100+ pitas with green fuzz on them after checking the manager's work. Government-funded refugee advocacy agencies at a time were approving a disproportionate amount of young women, 18 to 25, from Syria and Iraq with sexual assault history for their services. Upon further investigation, I and my team discovered consultants from said agency were engaging in sexual relationships with these girls. They were denying them opportunities of employment to keep them in financial destitution purposely. When the girls became desperate, the offer of private prostitution was made by the consultants. I whistle blew to the organization heads. They thanked me and the consultants were gone the next day. Huge meeting with senior board: apologies, this isn't the way we do things. Speech blah blah blah. And within 3 months me and the other 6 other complainants and investigators had all resigned from the company for different reasons. On paper it looks coincidental, in reality we were all individually pushed out. 2 of the consultants that we uncovered were doing the worst were not fired, they were given the option to resign and are currently working at other agencies with vulnerable young women. Ice manufacturing, my shift manager dropped a 7-gram bag of weed, in a bag of ice. It went out for delivery. No one ever phoned in to complain though. Inbound call center, though we are currently experiencing an unusually high call volume, message is permanent. They just didn't staff adequately. At a major insurance company I wrote software for was very big on security. If we needed to make an update, we weren't allowed to remote into the server, even though you physically could, it was just against policy. To make an update, you had to put your changes onto portable storage, show your ID to the security guy, use your key to open the door, get escorted to the server, then they'd observe you via cameras. The login? Admin the password? Blank. Literally no password. The difference between the high-quality deli meat sold at M&S and the regular deli meat sold in other grocery stores is that we changed the label. We would literally stop the production line, wait for the guy who ran the label machine to swap them out and then start it back up again.